It's another Luke-N-SHAE Plays production. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And turn on your notifications if you're enjoying the content. It's another banger video. This is Luke-N-SHAE'S Place podcast. Shay is not able to be with us. She's spending time with her beau. It was his birthday yesterday, so it's me and Mika. We're gonna do this thing. You know, me and Mika. We got the
Shamika.
Shamika. I forgot. She like to go by her whole. No. Anyway, like I said, we're gonna do this thing. It's another banger video. And like I said, if you enjoy the content, by all means, you like anything, like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section. Let us know that you're actually listening. So we got a banger video tonight. Actually, it's coming from Lapeef. It's straight out of Lapeef. The question was, is biblical order oppression? Some people feel it is, and then some people don't think it is. But, you know, what you think about it is important. So we want to see what, you know, like I say, like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure you comment, though. We would love to get the comments. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Let's see. Let's see if it's actually showing big. There we go. Get it. There we go. Okay, you ready? Shamika, we're going to go ahead and run it.
Okay.
Dre, do you think that men serve women? Like the men in the family serve their wives?
No, I don't think. I think they might console their wives or comfort their wives or show intimacy to their wives. I don't think this whole serving, it sounds like servitude. I just don't like that term. Like, I just think like a waitress at Bar Louie serves the table.
But so do you have a negative connotation on just the word serve? The submission also elicit that same response?
I think it solicits the same response when we're just talking about women submitting and then not actually recognizing that it takes two people in a relationship to be willing to compromise and submit at times. But a lot of times when we speak about it in this context, it's like it only applies for the women.
What if I told you that a man has to serve and pay the ultimate price for his family through death? We're expected to lay our lives on the line for our families. Would you then think we serve?
No, I would say that Jesus served Christ and giving his life for everyone. So I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, oh yeah, a man served his family because he like a natural instinct of protection kicked in and like he decided to protect us.
Where you stand on that, Shamika? Because I look at that as way different. Because it sounds like she, I call them New Age Christians, but she sounds like a New Age Christian or a person that's not a follower. But what's your stance on that?
Hi, good evening. So my take on it is I think that we both serve. I think that the biblical order of serving it stands today. I think that we just look at it in a different angle where, you know, kind of like a little bit like she said, is more towards the woman in one aspect. But I think men serve. I think they serve, the woman. I don't think it's the Bible tells the man to serve the woman as well as the woman to serve the man. Like we're servants, of Christ, but we're servants one to the next. Like, so at the end of the day, like how you serve is the question,
You
he
don't
gave
think
the example.
you don't think it played a part of the submission that she was talking about? That
No, because I mean, I think I mean, that's what the Bible talks about, submission, one to the next, So, but that's service, that's serving each other. When you submit to one another, you giving service to one another. So
I was asking, do you think she was thinking, because it doesn't sound like she's cool with the whole submission thing.
I think words are power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've gotten this state of mind where when we say certain words as submission, it means that basically you're a doormat, or you have to take everything that a person say, you have to do everything but that's not submission. That is to me, that's where that's where women mess up at, when they look at submission as a posture, if that makes sense.
Slavery. I think slavery.
Yeah, like something like that. Like exactly. So they look at that where if you submit to your husband, you want to serve him, you want to take care of him. When I look at submission, I look at taking care of, providing, making sure every need is met. You understand what I'm saying? Like you trying to do whatever it takes to make your spouse happy. So men do the same thing.
Yeah, that's the goal. That is the goal. That was the plan, original plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's see where she's going with this.
Like,
if you have ever wanted to.
But didn't Jesus serve us though? Like,
Jesus served everyone, and it wasn't like monolith. It wasn't like, oh, they're all women, I'm gonna like serve the women, or they're all men, I'm gonna serve men. He gave his life for everyone. So like
that kind of, I'm sorry, I was gonna say that kind of bleeds into the way the conversation is playing, because in the role of hierarchy, as J.I. presented the question, right? It was stated it was God, man, woman, child, and then animals, right? So via that, Jesus served by the religious aspect. He served mankind by giving his life for them, and husbands are primarily doing the same thing for their family. So I don't know if I understand how you could view the word serve, but I think maybe just give it another look. And while you think about that, just think about it for a second. Why
I just want to say something, because I feel like people speak like about God, then men, then woman, then child, and everyone doesn't believe in that structure. Everyone doesn't believe in that. So
I told you, it sounds like she wanted
to
hierarchy, but I don't believe
it is what it is.
I don't. I couldn't hear her. What did you say?
It doesn't matter if you believe in it. It is what it is. Andrea, I have a question for you. Are you gonna run? Are you gonna run every time it gets hot?
If I feel like it, yeah. If I want to.
No, Andrea, stay. Don't run.
No.
Defend yourself.
Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna cuss someone out, and I don't want to embarrass myself on YouTube, because I've done it before and I don't want to do it again, because I'm an actual person that has a job now. So yeah.
You've been doing that without having to insult anybody. You've been doing that very well so far. I don't know if you noticed. Probably subconsciously.
Well, thank you. I've taken a break for a while, because I just was kind of feeling like, you know what?
I'm actually saying, yeah, I'm saying you.
It sounded like
even though you've been trying not to embarrass yourself, you still have been embarrassing yourself. That's what I was saying.
I think that you're a loser and your opinion doesn't matter. So thanks for sharing, but it was unsolicited. Thank you.
It's crazy.
Anyway, it is crazy. How you
It's
think that your opinion matters to me? I think that's crazy. I think it's ludicrous.
I can elaborate.
I actually don't care.
No,
I would actually love to hear his elaboration on this. Go ahead and elaborate, bro.
Because it's unsolicited for me. I don't care.
Well, we're not asking you.
Excuse me. Back to Marcus' question. I think everyone doesn't subscribe to the same, hierarchy, God and man and woman. Some people don't always. I feel like that's a lot of. Even though a lot of people are still Christians, a lot of people moved away from. I think more people are more spiritual as opposed to religious. So I think that only applies for a select group of people who believe in that structure.
So Bruiser, go ahead and elaborate real quick.
It's crazy that these type of women believe a man's only duty is to provide intimacy and what else she said? Comfort. When in reality, men serve women every day by keeping society running. Women benefit from the safety, the convenience, and luxury that men's labor, sacrifices, and leadership provide. But they still reduce a man's service down to just comforting and like a damn dog or some shit. That's why a lot of them end up with dogs and cats. Have y'all listened to, I just want to talk to the chat for a minute. Have y'all been listening to Andrea speak? This type of mindset leaves women unprotected, unsupported, and ultimately unloved. Because when men stop serving society, women will finally realize they were never truly independent. Never. They were just privileged by the... I'm gonna start cussing in this motherfucker. She gonna make me embarrass my damn self out here.
Who are you supposed to be?
Don't come out your body, bro. Don't come out your back.
Who do you think you?
What you feel on that one, Mika? Are you at loss of words? You at loss of words. Because the way she worded it, I kind of figured that she was going to go that direction. I don't even know if I can call her a believer. I used to call it like we got the New Age Christians that have that belief in we can serve God without. Hold on, sound like your mic is muted. Did you mute your mic?
Oh, spiritual. So that when people say I'm spiritual, I feel like, okay, basically no foundation. You understand what I'm saying? Like the foundation, like I don't know what the girl at the top, her name, she said it is what it is. Like that's the order. Is God, man, woman, children, animals. Like that, it is what it is. That's the foundation. And that's how it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. But you got these people who are so spiritual that they just want to change the order, and it is what it is. And I feel like I 100% agree with him. Like women try to dummy down men that they're just there to be, providers and protectors and all of that. And they're more to a man than that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, women, I mean, I don't know her personally, but her mannerisms, her characteristics is like she only want to hear what she want to say. She don't want to hear what no one else have to say. And is she in a relationship? Is she married? Because I can bet she's not.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. Her thing is, I think, like I said, because there's a lot of people today that like to take the word and move out the things they don't want to do and just go about the rest of it. They're like, well, I don't want to do that. And it sounded like that's what she was doing. She kind of like picking and choosing the things she wanted to do within the confines. So then that's where they use the word spiritual. So that way I'm still worshiping, but I don't necessarily got to follow the rules. So that's how it come off. And you got so many people doing that today to where they just don't want to follow the rules. I want to, like I had a lady tell me one time she believe in God, but she don't believe in the Bible. So you make sense of that one. So I was like, that's wild. But she was that's the term she used. She was spiritual. Let me see if she was married. Maybe she's gonna enter because I think it sounds like they're about to get into something.
Do you think you're the Martin Luther King of incels? What are you doing here? Huh? Are you the coming of what's his name? The guy who, I'm not even going to say that. That would be so wrong.
He's
Is
married.
this live now? Is this current? Is this going on now?
He didn't ask me if I was in a relationship while he's giving off some impression that I'm single and that I'm alone and unloved. I have the best boyfriend ever. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Everybody has the best boyfriend ever.
Yeah, I'm sure you too.
Congratulations.
Too. Thank you.
When are you going to get
This show is live.
Don't worry about it. It's my business. Why do you
Trust
care?
me, I'm not worried about it.
Why do you care?
I would worry when you do, though. I was worried for the man.
Care? Why does it matter to you?
I'm not going to go back and forth with you. We can move forward.
You shouldn't. We should.
All right. I'd like to say we want to try to remain as respectful as possible while we on the panel and argue the actual content of what the person is saying and not the person's personal life to the best of your human abilities. Let's try and do that.
Marcus,
now,
can I point out something?
Hold on. I just want to jump in
before you move forward, brother. Go ahead, Trev. I don't want to interrupt you. You haven't really spoken, brother. You got it.
Yeah, appreciate you. So I'm just going to say this. Andrea kind of has a point, right? And I'll tell you why. There are entire communities, right? If you go online, right? Let's say you're a dude who wants a woman to be submissive. You can actually find that. You got the whole cheat code right now. You can find any type of female you want. There are females who are ready to be subbed out if that's what you were looking for, right? Believe it or not, there's a lot of men out here, which I've witnessed, and it may, in my opinion, seem dysfunctional to me, right? But I've said before, I can see function and dysfunction to me, and that's my opinion of it, right? So there are some dudes who actually enjoy being dominated by women and don't want to be bothered with the stresses of being a man. So if he's to find a female who might be more dominant or leaning, at the end of the day, you need that balance, right? Where everybody kind of has their duties individually and you don't overlap in a way to where it's a conflict, right? If you do overlap, then it's cooperative. If you could balance that, then go ahead and have at it, right? Not everybody is going to go for the same thing. You just need function. You need a certain amount of bills paid. Unfortunately, men are no longer sole providers. Most people aren't, right? What about 10% of us could actually afford to do that comfortably? So we have already stepped into that realm where we have females compensating somewhat for the men's duties, right? That right there is a decent part of your masculinity. That's one of our core functions that we always say is provide, right? We don't just provide that. We do provide security as a whole, whether it be emotional security, financial security, physical security, all of that. But I've seen instances where it can work. Would it work for me? No. Could I live in a house like that? Not me in particular. But have I seen it work? Yeah. And I think we might be making a mistake saying that there is a cookie cutter way that's going to be functional for every human being. There are a lot of women who will never develop the trust in a man because of certain things that just may happen. Maybe they didn't see a positive male figure in their house and they just don't have that trust for men. And damn, how do you fix that, right? If you want to take on that task, you have at it, right? But that's just one of the reasons. There's plenty of reasons. Some females just are more dominant now. We have females doing a lot more masculine roles, and for some men that works. Again, for me, absolutely not. But go ahead, Marcus.
For Trev, I agree that those relationships work. And a book I always reference is The Way of the Superior Man. And they talk about not so much male or female, but submissive and dominant energy, right? And that's what creates a power dynamic. Now, within that, what I found through observing various different types of relationships, if the woman has the dominant energy, eventually she gets frustrated with the man that's submitting and looks to him as if he's less than a man. And then it creates a power imbalance because although she is 60% the leader of that relationship,
and that's what I was about to say. How long is this gonna last
in that scenario? And
okay,
and that's what I was gonna say. Although he agreed with her, how long would that actually last? Because you get burned out. as to the man and to the woman, because when a man feels like a woman is more dominant, she don't listen to him. How long can he endure that? How long? It doesn't matter if he's passive or what. How long could a person actually deal with that? You understand what I'm saying? And a woman is dominant. How long do she want to be dominant? It comes a time where the you're gonna meet a crossroad. You understand what I'm saying? And you're gonna get burnt out. So although he can agree with that, because no, it's not a cookie cutter world we live in where everybody got to be the same. But I love what the guy said. We bring balance to one another. But again, how long can you actually stay in that stead? Like it's not gonna work.
It's not. And you're exactly right, because you wasn't designed to carry the weight. God, we're wired differently. Men and women are wired differently. And I think at some point they wanted to do it, but when you actually put them in it, they'll do it for a little while, and then they're like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. But like I said, it takes both parties to make anything work. It's going to take both of us, because it was designed for both of us to work. And that's how that's how it is supposed to work. But the order, I don't think, like I said, what she was trying to push is the oppression thing as well. But I don't think she and I think he kind of like, I guess he kind of backed down, because that's what we do. He kind of backed down. He didn't stand 10 toes down on it. He tried to give her a leeway out, but you're right, it wouldn't work over the long haul. It would work for a little while, but it wouldn't work, all the way down, all the way throughout. It wouldn't work, because she would get tired of doing it, and then, like I said, she's gonna look at him differently as well. And that's where the issue really comes in.
Absolutely. 100%. So carry on.
And those relationships usually end in divorce or separation. And the man in those scenarios, instead of him figuring out a way to make sure he switches that power dynamic because he enjoys being in a submissive role, ends up becoming more submissive and thus pissing her more off, and it like creates a cycle.
And white.
Right. So look, let me ask you this though. I'm gonna tell you, there's some in other cultures, right? I've been in more houses, thousands, and I've watched a lot of the dynamics. I've seen people who have been together for 50, 60, 70 years, and that dynamic, right? I've been in couples' houses that are in their 90s, mid-90s, all the way up to the 90s. And you can see sometimes that the female can actually dominate, and they never left. So, like I said, would I recommend it? Not really. But can we say that it doesn't work? I've seen it work, and that's the weird part.
Let me ask you two questions, Trev.
Go ahead.
Can you pause that?
The first example that you gave that was kind of extreme, where there was a man who...
Can you pause that? Okay, so what he's saying, right? And he's accurate, because the time, like the old school, let's talk about old school, why they marriage lasts, right? Okay. Why you see that the woman is more dominant and the man is, it's because the man understands the wisdom of the woman, right? But in those relationships, to be honest, there's communication. In the relationships now, there's no communication.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. But that's the thing that's missing. You're absolutely right. And so, like I said, they did back in the day. It was also a thing where they knew what they were supposed to do, because, like I said, they were closer to what they, as far as when I like to say the Bible, they were closer to the Bible in the mindset, because they really believed a different way. And like I said, when you go back in the 1950s, you were getting married at like a 90% rate. And basically, you learn how to do the things that you were supposed to do from your mother. And the man tend to follow what the father done. And so that's what makes that relationship work. So when they put them together, it wasn't all about this or that. It was more about, well, they both knew their roles. And people hate when you say that too. Both of them knew their roles to make this thing work, because we both got roles to make this work. It's kind of
okay.
Like
so I'm not gonna say we know the roles, but I believe they knew the goal. You understand?
Yeah.
The goal was to be married, to stay married, to work it out through no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? And the goal was to not break up the family foundation. So,
That's true.
and they held on to that. Now, as to the role, you do, like, I could honestly say, like, I know some couples where the woman was dominant. I know some couples where the man was dominant, masculine. But the woman, mostly, she took care of the home. She took care of the responsibility, of the bulk of the responsibility, where the man went out, he worked, and he did what he had to do. He did the hard labor and all of those things. But that's where the roles come in, like, but at the end of the day, she knew, she took care of the things, where now is like, okay, well, we're at a split. So is the woman and the man is working right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas to before, the man, he was the sole provider. But now both have a obligation. They both have a job. So to me, is this whole equality thing. It comes back to equality, where the woman want to be equal to the man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Huh?
That's exactly what it's all about. And
That's all it is. That's all it is to me. The woman want the
about.
same. She want to be dominant. She want the same, equality. She want the same pay rate. She want everything is equal. She could do what he could do. Like, at the end of the day, like, I used to always see men construction workers. I used to see men cops. Just certain things, certain fields. It was more dominantly men. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hey, to each his own. I'm not gonna knock a woman for if she want to do that. That's up to her. But me solely, I feel like when it came to certain things, yes, I feel like a woman should be paid for her job. The Bible says the workman is worthy of his hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a job, you should be, compensated for what you work.
Okay,
however, when it comes to gender and roles, right? I don't want to be up there picking up no 90-pound box as a woman. The devil is a liar. No.
But you know what? I look at it like this. I hear what you're saying. You're making the same pay, right? It's all good. Okay. Well, the way I see it now, okay, why is it that woman can't take care of the family, being that she's making the same amount? See, because the reason the man made more, because the man was more into taking care of his family. So when he went home, he would, his wife, his kids. But the woman can make the same amount, but her duty is not to take care of family. She'll take care of kids, but she's not going to take care of the whole family.
Why not? I take care of my family.
Oh no, I'm saying, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying, when you're making this money, like running to women down here in Atlanta, I make $150,000, they say. Okay. Now, this is why men say your money don't make a difference to us, because you're not going to take care of me. See, and you're going to say, well, what, you can stay home since I'm making this, and you could, no, it's not, that'll never happen.
But that's not true. You have a lot of women who take care of their men, especially now. You see men, I see a lot of men, they sit down, they stay at home. They stay at home moms, basically. A lot of men, they stay at home, they don't work, and the woman is the breadwinner. And she takes care of him. She puts money in his pocket. She makes sure he good. She makes sure the bills is paid. She makes sure the kids taken care of. And some women don't have a problem with that. And some men don't have a problem with that. But at the end of the day, like, even this 50-50 thing.
Most women down here tell you they lose respect for the man.
No, I don't think it's that. I don't think
several times where the woman done said, well, if I make more than him, I can't submit to him and I can't follow him.
It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I'm a woman. I'm telling you, it's not that. It's the fact that these men get comfortable and want to do the bare minimum, and they're okay with that. it's like they don't even want to progress. They don't even want to go a little harder. As to women, we are always trying to, we're overachievers, basically. We always want to excel. We always want to advance. We always want to do greater. Where you have some men like that too, but a man who is really okay with a woman being a breadwinner, he's okay with just, okay, well, I just got to pay the cable bill. I'm okay with it.
Well, hey, if that's what they requiring, hey,
but see, that's where I find it to be a problem, because you want me to pay the water bill, the light bill, the gas, the mortgage, all of these other bills, put groceries in the house, and you just okay with paying the cable bill. Like make that make sense. Like you don't want to excel, you don't want to help me, you don't want to, you know what, let me make this load easier for my woman. You understand what I'm saying? If you can't the society, the world we live in right now, okay, if you cannot afford to pay the full mortgage, if we have to, double up and split the mortgage or whatever you want to say, but at least can you take care of the life insurance? Can you pay the car insurance and the car note? Like, why do I have to pay all of these things? Plus, then you want me to lay down and mate with you, and
a woman's job is never done.
That's what I'm saying. We be tired.
The thing here, I'm talking about the women that you meet. They'll tell you right off the rip that if they make more than you, they can't respect you. That before you even get in a relationship, they'll tell you that. They're gonna let you know.
That's society. The society has done that to women until women now realize that it ain't that. It ain't that, sis. Because if you get somebody really and truly, honestly, if you get somebody who works at McDonald's and he is consistent, see, my thing is consistency. If you consistent, it doesn't matter what you do, because to be honest, I've seen somebody take nothing and made it into something. You understand what I'm saying? Took $6.50 and end up purchasing a home. You know what I'm saying? Because they was consistent and they had a passion and they wanted to provide for their family, so they saved and they did what they had to do to bust their butt, and they made many sacrifices. So you could get a man who is making a lot of money and he's hiding it from you. He don't do nothing. I seen that. I seen women with men who men made good money, but they didn't even give them money for diapers for their kids. Selfish.
Well, that's different. I don't know. That's that new age stuff. We didn't grow up in this, so.
No, it was going on back then too, because I heard some stories. Mama and her friends got stories, so don't do that.
You got to know the truth, though. It's the truth to that, though. You got to get into the
Mama and her friends had them stories. That's why we got Medea. That's why we got all these things, because guess what? He was taking care of Lucy and them kids and not taking care of home.
But see, that's another myth that they make bigger than life. That wasn't happening at the same rate that they projected to happen. That wasn't happening at the same rate. My brother got 11 kids. He got no outside kids. Been married to the same woman 60 years.
Jesus. He don't got no outside kids?
No outside kids. That's what he.
Well, he's very few.
No, but that's not. No, it actually is more. Like I just said,
it probably is. I said few. I said few. I know, and few can be a lot too.
No, they pushed that narrative that was happening at an alarming rate.
It was, and it was.
It wasn't, because if you go back and look at any stats, see, women having children outside of marriage, it would have fell up under that heading. They didn't have that. Women having children outside of marriage, that didn't really take off into the 80s.
Okay.
Because women, like I said, that would be your whole discussion. Oh, okay. She don't want to get pregnant. That would be the whole discussion when you were trying to do your thing.
I take it you ain't never lived in no project, so okay.
No projects. What's the matter with you?
Clearly you didn't, because I don't know where you from, because you ain't from where I'm from. Because if you seen people who stayed with their women and didn't have outside kids. I don't know where you from, because I know a lot of people they related, and I'm like, dang, that's your.
What I'm saying is that because you actually was there, okay, and see what we do is this right here. I grew up in the same place in the same area which you grew up. I grew up in West.
And I'm a 70s. I'm a 70s baby. So I
So, but what I'm saying to you is, it was happening in that area. But if we were to look at the numbers, it wasn't happening as much as we thought it was. We just saw it. So I didn't say I didn't see it. I'm saying that when you look at the numbers overall, it wasn't happening at the same rate that, like, most of these things projected, like, okay, all your movies, case in point. We had a movie, what is it called? Waiting to Excel. Did that shine a light on black men in a positive way or a negative way? See, because that's what it did. And
what's the movie?
Waiting to Excel. Waiting to Excel, Color Purple. Any of the movies that we deemed as black movies back then were not projected to present black men in a positive image. And so a lot of time they pushed that narrative that black men was out here having children out of wedlock. And yeah, there were some men that did it. But if you looked at the numbers and go look at, you don't believe me, go look at the numbers of women having children out of wedlock. And then go look at the numbers that did it in the 80s after we got welfare and all that good stuff.
So go back to this pod.
Hold on. I'm going to have to let this run out right here.
And who was overly submissive and enjoyed being dominated. My first question is that healthy for a man? And if he goes down that path, does it ever end well for him? That's my first question. And if all men subscribe, that's my first question. I'm going to give you them both because I know you can answer them both. My second question is, if all men subscribe to this type of lifestyle, would it damage or repair or help our society? Would it be detrimental or
detrimental?
Conducive?
Yep.
Right. So
why don't you own an apartment building?
That's the one. That was right there.
not necessarily an extreme situation. It's just that in some cases the woman would do some of the duties that we find masculine, right? We're not talking about like femdom or none of that type of cuckery or nothing crazy. We're not talking about none of that. We're just talking about where sometimes the man might just lean into his female to handle a lot of responsibilities. Like I've seen some females who understand how to pay the bills instead, or make the decisions as far as the house and just lay back. A lot of dudes do that, way more than what we think. Now, is it functional? To get to that second part, it's like that's debatable, right? It depends on what your upbringing is, what your background, who has the authority to set that. We all have different beliefs, right? So if you want to lean on Christianity or Islam or whatever, then that's one thing. But what if that's not what you are? What if you don't subscribe to that? Then it's like, okay, what are we doing? Can we tell people who don't subscribe to that to fit into that mold if they have a situation that is working for them?
That's the example you're talking about, as a woman being a dominant.
Personality wise, whereas he would yield to her decision making. To me, I think that's feminine of a man. But
why would it be?
So that part necessarily might not be fully feminine, but I get the point he's trying to make is about the energy and him acquiescing at all times to her. I probably wouldn't agree that her and the clerical roles would make her the dominant person. But to your point,
clerical, but like, let's say you want to have a decision for the house, buying a whip. What kind of house you gonna get? I've seen a lot of females. Y'all ever watch HGTV and watch how much input the woman actually has on the crib versus trusting what the man thinks? Y'all ever watch how that go down sometimes?
Yeah,
there's
but
a lot of dudes out here like that. That's just one example.
I wouldn't look at that as a female dominant situation. That's a situation where a man is making use of the woman he had and putting her to work.
But is he? If he's looking at something, he likes something, but then what her thoughts supersede his, then I would absolutely say
I don't see the part where
it's called communication. It's called like, oh my God, that's good. That's good. Like he went there. It's kind of like, I understand his viewpoint, but that was good because that actually happened with me. Like, the first house we bought a house. My husband worked. So he was not able to go look at none of the houses. So the first house, I found the house. We loved the house. We lived in the house. We lived in the house for 10 years. We loved the house. We ended up outgrowing the house. So the second house, again, he worked. So I was like, you know what? You pick the house. You pick the house. Again, he couldn't go look at the houses. I went house shopping. Whatever house I found, I would tell him we would look at it together, and I'll be like, okay, I wanna put in to go look at it. We look at it online, and then I would go look at the house. And then he would say, I said, okay, I seen the house, it looks beautiful. Now I'm gonna schedule an appointment for you to see the house to see if you love the house. When we found our second house, he was like, oh my God, I love the house. And I was like, you do? I said, I love it too. So it was a mutual agreement. You understand? I didn't just say, oh, I like this house. I want this house. I allowed him to pick the house. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, I hear you. I feel you.
So,
but most of the houses buying, they do design for the woman to do it because they used to tell you that.
okay. But I'm just saying because he used that analogy. So, and it was cute.
Well, I know. Like I said, they teach you to sell it to the woman because this is how that works.
But to be honest, okay, but to be honest, he wants a house with more rooms. I don't. I said that's more to clean, even though I don't clean. But I'm like, he's like, we gotta hire a maid because
you don't cook, you don't clean.
We don't. I ain't say I don't cook, but I mean I do clean, but gotta be in the mood because I don't like it. But you know what I'm saying.
So you
but
don't
at
want
the end of the day,
you don't want to clean. Okay. You don't want the extra room. You want the bigger house because you don't want to clean.
No, he want a bigger house.
I know, but you don't want it because you don't want to clean. You don't want the extra room to clean.
Okay. Absolutely. Yep. You feel me now, right?
That's copping. You got to get to the cleaning up the house.
And he want to have more rooms, and I'm like, more rooms for what? Like, I want to downgrade. I don't want no more kids here. I want the kids out. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, when they come over, they can have somewhere to stay. And like, oh, okay, that sounds nice or whatever. But yeah. So
because usually we'll figure the mother will want the grandkids to be able to come over and be comfortable. But the grandfather like, oh yeah, come on, bring them on in here. Let them get comfortable.
Absolutely not. I want them out. I want them going.
See, there you go.
I want them going.
See, that is messed up. That is absolutely messed up.
Everybody go.
She putting everybody out. That's messed up. Everybody got to go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. My mother used to say, well, you know what? That's why y'all don't got no locked doors. Can't lock no doors in this house. I don't want y'all comfortable.
well, I don't allow nobody to lock doors neither. No, nobody got. You see that? You heard that, right?
That's right. That's
why I want to be. That's why I want to be out.
Beauty of the grandchildren. That's the beauty. What's the matter?
So I'm just saying the analogy he used, it was cute, but at the end of the day, it's like it's not that we want to take control over everything. It's just the man. He I feel like it's more he trusts her judgment. You know what I'm saying? Some men, let's be real, judgment is not really that good. A lot of men.
So you don't believe in the woman is a better homemaker than the man? That was always going to be the case.
I'm not saying I don't believe that, but I mean, you got some men who keep home.
About with the roles, yeah, you would pick out a better house because that's kind of like falls under the I want to say the jurisdiction of being a homemaker. Okay, so you probably would be better at picking out houses. A man probably be better at financing the house or understanding the finances of the house, but as far as picking out houses, that's like I said, most realtors are taught to sell to the wife. They're not taught to sell to men. Because like I said, I hear that, but I put that all under that whole thing of the where we got different roles.
Well, see, that's where I beg to differ, because a lot of men that I do know, and I'm gonna speak from my experience, men don't look at prices. They go in the grocery store and they just pick up the item. We bargain shop.
Exactly. But see, that's what I'm saying. We don't care. We set out a pair of sneakers. That's the sneakers I want. I'm going to the store and I'm gonna get those sneakers.
And I'm waiting until they go on sale, and I'm gonna go and look at other websites to see if I can find them at a cheaper rate.
No, but y'all are going to the store and be like, oh, I gotta go get some shoes. Okay, now you bring in blouses and stuff, and do this red look like this red match this red. It's red. We don't care. Okay, red is red.
And then when you come home and you see that the reds don't match, now you big mad because you should have took your shirt with you.
Y'all be big mad. We don't care because red is red.
No, you do care because you want to be fly. So, and every man is not like that. Some men really do care about their appearance. They have an image that they gotta keep.
You care about your appearance, but I used to go shoe shopping with women. And that's a 3-hour duty, man. That was just crazy. I don't care. After a while, red is red. Okay.
Not all women is like that.
Ain't nobody gonna be looking at your blouse that close. The dude gonna walk up to you.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They be like, "Oh, I see you. I see that red in your shirt."
That's not very masculine. I don't care.
Whatever. So what are we doing? So what are we doing with this topic? What are we doing?
Oh no, we're done. I just wanted to get to the bottom of understanding that the lady was having a problem with roles, and the role that God gave to her, she didn't want. And I'm not saying she wanted the man's role. She just didn't want the role she was supposed to have, and so that's what it was. A kickback. The kickback was she didn't want to have to do none of that. And then when she said she didn't understand a man saying that he had to lay down his life for her, and she said, "Well, that wasn't like."
That's not a sacrifice.
That's not, because Jesus did that already. So
she crazy. She said she's in a happily good relationship. She has a good boyfriend.
Oh, you know, the good boyfriend.
That's what she said. She has a good boyfriend. So hopefully,
then she
we'll
got
see
mad
how this
was the big day going.
Huh?
She got hella mad when he asked her when they're gonna get married, though.
Exactly. You said boy, so that makes me that just said it right there. He's a boy. He's still a boy. He's not a man. Because a person at your age, you saying you got a boyfriend? No, he's my man or he's my fiance. Yeah. No, I don't have no boyfriend. And I'm in my 30s, and you got a boyfriend? No, well,
it sounds like
that's my man.
50 deal. So she probably got the 50-50 deal where she is happy within it, and he's not requiring her to do anything extra. So that's what make him a good man, because he's not going to step on her toes or go out the way to make her do anything that she don't want to do.
Well, she don't believe that the man is the head, because she said there's a lot of people who don't believe in that order. So she was like, so she believed that they just spiritual.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
They believe in God, but they don't gotta be obedient to God. We believe in God, but I don't necessarily got to follow what God said we need to do. You know, that's subject to whatever we want to do on that. But
okay. Well, on that note.
But yeah, this is another LUKE-N-SHAE'S Place podcast. If you like the content, and we like to thank our special guest, Shamika, who stepped in, because I didn't have nobody else.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. That was the last option.
No, you wasn't the last option. There was supposed to be more people. They just canceled out. And as we got closer to the showtime, they were like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it." So one girl had a Zoom meeting, so she couldn't. So, and then Shay, I think she's spending time with her husband. So,
well, hopefully Shay will be on next time, and I'll see her again. So,
we're gonna definitely.
I enjoyed it.
But yeah, like I say, like, subscribe, and share. If you enjoy the content, please share and get it out to, cousins, whoever. We enjoy doing this. And like I said, this was another banger show. And definitely, we like to thank the people at LaPeef. That was LaPeef. It was a great show. Like some of their content. So check them out as well. I'll leave the description down below in the description. And give us a thumbs up or leave a heart in the in the comment section. We do appreciate it. And thanks again, Mika, for joining.
Sure.
Sure, Mika. I'm because we home people now, so it's hard to put the shell on there when I know you're outside. But anyway, thank you again, Shamika, for joining us. I really appreciate you. And like I said, you gotta stop being a stranger and stop in on more shows.
I will.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap that up, and we'll see you again on the next show. You stay blessed and stay out to see. Anything you want to say before you get off me?
No, just thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to some more questionnaires
Yeah, we're gonna do
and
some
some
more.
opinionated response. So, I just have an open mind, and thank you.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're gonna do another show. You can come. We're gonna do another show, not tomorrow, but tomorrow night. The day after that. But yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right.
You take care and be blessed.
You as well. Good night.
Good night.